Today, I'm going to show you two powerful PO-33 drum sampling tips. And don't worry, they work on the PO-133 as well.
Freebie.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Today's patron shout-out goes to P-Holba. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. So today, I'm very happy to be at my PO-133 Street Fighter, which has a working screen unlike my PO-33, and I figured I would kick off the new Pocket Operator sampler content by giving you two of my favorite very powerful drum sampling tips for the PO-33/133. So yes, these tips do work for both of the sampling pocket operators. I'm just going to say PO-33 from this point on, but it does work for both. So on the PO-33, we get two different types of samples, melodic and drum. We get 8 slots for each type. The first 8 are melodic, second 8 are drum. So right now I've got my Korg Volca drum hooked up into our input, ready to sample. So I want to sample some drum kits. Now you might think that the best place to sample a drum kit would be into the drum slot, but that is actually not correct. See, when you sample into a drum slot, it automatically will chop that sample up into 16 different slices, and then you actually have to go through each individual sound that it gives you and play with the trim, which can be kind of a pain. So here's the first tip, and I've found that a lot of folks do not know this. You can actually sample into a melodic bank and then copy that sound directly into one slot of one of the sample banks in the drum section. So let me show you what I mean. So let's go ahead and actually try to sample into a drum slot first. I'm going to go ahead and try to sample this clap right here. So I'm going to sample it into slot 9. So hold record, hold 9. There we go. So now we can hear that we just have one sample in all of slot 9. And if we were to try to record something else there, it would overwrite it. So instead what we want to do is actually sample into a melodic slot first. So I'm going to go ahead, let's just say we sample into slot 1 here. So I'm going to hold record, slot 1. And now you can hear that the sound is pitched across our keyboard, but we don't really care about that. I'm going to go ahead and turn up the volume on it. Instead, what we want to do is utilize the copy feature to actually start customizing an entire custom kit down here. So let's go ahead and say we want to copy this sound. Since it's a snare drum, we'll copy it into slot 2 of bank 9. So what I'm going to do, select the pitch that I want. There we go. I'm going to hold right. I'm going to hold sound. Now, while holding those, I'm going to push the kit that I want it sampled into, kit number 9. And now I'm going to push slot 2 because I want it in bank 2. Now I release everything, and now if I go to bank 9, we can hear that just that snare drum sample is in slot 2. So now, let's go ahead and take this kick drum here. I'm going to once again sample into that same melodic slot, slot 1. And now I'm going to, once again, hold right, hold sound. I'm going to copy this into kit 9, so I push kit 9, and then I'm actually going to push slot 1. So now, just that kick drum has gone to just slot 1 of bank 9, and we still have the snare drum in slot 2 of bank 9, as you can see here. So using this technique, we can actually fill out all 16 slots of the kit with whatever we want. We don't have to be limited to just sampling everything at once into, a single kit and having it slice it up for you and then trying to dial in the trim points. No, we can individually sample sounds and then one by one load them into our kit. Let's do that with this hi-hat real quick here. So I'm going to record it into slot 1. There we go, which is of course our melodic slot. Now I'm simply going to copy that into slot 3 of bank 9. And there we go. Now you might notice that the kick drum sample does get cut off when another sound from this kit is played, and that's because the kits on the PO-33/133 are monophonic. However, we can get around that by being strategic with what we sample. So for instance, let's say I want to play the kick drum and the hi-hat at the exact same time? Well, of course, because the kit is monophonic, we can't really do that natively. However, we can actually sample those two instruments being played together first. So I'm going to practice hitting both of those sounds at the same time here. Okay, now I'm going to hold record and once again sample into melodic slot 1. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to simply perform the previous tip and copy that into, I'm going to say, slot 9 of bank 9. There we go. Now, what if I want hi-hat and snare together? With a little bit of practice, I can hit those consistently at the same time. Once again, I'm going to sample into bank 1. There we go. Now I'm going to copy that into slot 10 of bank 9. Now we have two sounds down here that are a combination of the kick drum and the hi-hat, and the snare drum and the hi-hat. Now, of course, in this case, the hi-hat that I used is very similar sound-wise to the snare drum, so you can't hear it, super clear. But trust me, depending on the samples that you use, this trick will be a lifesaver. Now we can sequence using these sounds. So let's put a kick drum on 1, and then we'll put one on 3 and the end of 3, and I'll fill in the offbeat gaps here with our hi-hat. Then I'll take our sound with the snare drum and the hi-hat and put that on 2 and 4. Let's slow it down a bit. Nice. Now we can take the standalone kick drum and put that on the of beat 2. Nice. There we go. So in summary, the two sampling tips are to sample into a melodic slot, so then you can copy that sound specifically to one slot of one of your drum banks. And then the second tip is to sample multiple percussion hits at the same time to give the illusion of polyphony in your drum track. Because remember, the PO-33 and PO-133 both have 4 different kits that they can play simultaneously, or 4 different sounds they can play at the same time. And this drum pattern right here is only using up one of those kits due to how we sampled it. So hopefully I explained this with at least a bit of clarity. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down below, and I will do my best to answer them. If you did enjoy the video or found it helpful, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.